Imagine this. The police drag you into a freezing interrogation room at 3 a.m. They slam crime scene photos on the steel table. Your husband has been found dead under horrifying circumstances. Where were you? They growl. You look them straight in the eyes and say, I was with him the entire night. They smile like they already have you. Then they slide over the CCTV stills. Your husband laughing, kissing passionately, checking into a luxury hotel with a woman who looks exactly like you. Same long dark hair, same red dress, same tiny scar on her left cheek, same delicate gold necklace. Identical, down to the way she tilts her head when she laughs. But you were home. You never left. So who was the woman who stole your face and left your husband found dead? Hey everyone, welcome back to Betrayal and Revenge Stories. Today's story is number 10, The Identical Alibi. This is a slow-burn psychological thriller full of twists, red herrings, and raw emotion that will keep you guessing until the final second. Lights low, volume up, settle in deep, because this is a long, dark, addictive ride. We're talking every detail, every heartbeat, every tear. Let's begin. Serena Thompson had been married to Brandon for 8 long, complicated years. They met in college during a photography class. She was the quiet girl, with the camera around her neck, capturing moments others missed. He was the confident business major with the easy smile and big dreams. They fell hard and fast. Late-night study sessions turned into stolen kisses, then into plans for a future. They got married in a beautiful garden ceremony with string lights and wildflowers. Everyone said they were perfect together. 2 children followed. Adira, 6 years old now, with her mother's curious hazel eyes and sharp mind. Little Justin, 4, who still believed his daddy could fix anything with a hug. They lived in a beautiful 2-story house in a quiet Portland suburb. White picket fence, rose bushes Serena tended every weekend, a tire swing in the backyard. Brandon built a successful real estate development company. He wore expensive suits, collected luxury watches, and was always the loudest voice at neighborhood barbecues. Serena worked from home as a freelance photographer, shooting family portraits and weddings, freezing happy moments while her own marriage slowly cracked. The problems didn't start overnight. They crept in like shadows. First, it was the late nights at the office. Then, the sudden business trips that stretched longer than planned. The perfume on his collars that wasn't hers. The way he started locking his phone with a passcode she didn't know. When Serena gently asked, Brandon would laugh, pull her close, and say, "Babe, the market is insane right now. I'm doing all this for us, for the kids. Trust me." She wanted to trust him. God, she tried. She remembered the man who carried her over the threshold, the one who stayed up all night when Adira had colic, the one who cried when Justin was born. But doubt is a slow poison. It spreads through quiet evenings when he was distant, through text messages he hid, through the growing distance in their bed. One ordinary Thursday changed everything forever. Brandon came home earlier than usual that afternoon. He kissed Serena's cheek quickly, almost distractedly. He ruffled Adira's hair and swung Justin onto his shoulders for a few minutes of giggles. "I've got a big investor dinner tonight, babe. Might be really late. Don't wait up." He grabbed his keys, told the kids he loved them, and drove off in his sleek black Mercedes. Serena made spaghetti with meatballs for dinner, Adira's favorite. She read 3 bedtime stories, tucked them in with extra kisses, then poured herself a large glass of Merlot, and curled up on the couch with a book she couldn't focus on. At exactly 11:47 p.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. "Mrs. Thompson? This is Detective Luke Reynolds with Portland PD. There's been an incident involving your husband. You need to come down to the downtown precinct right away." Her stomach dropped like a stone. She called her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Ellis, to watch the sleeping children, and drove through heavy rain, windshield wipers slashing back and forth like knives. Her hands shook on the steering wheel. Car accident? Heart attack? Something worse? When she walked into the precinct, 2 detectives were waiting in a small, windowless room that smelled of stale coffee and desperation. Detective Luke Reynolds, mid-40s, tired eyes and a permanent frown. His partner, Detective Carla Mendoza, sharp-featured, quiet, watching everything. They sat her down. Reynolds spoke first, voice gentle at the beginning. "Mrs. Thompson, I'm very sorry to tell you this." He slid the first photo across the cold table. "Brandon, the crime scene was devastating. The alley was marked as a crime scene. He had been found dead under horrifying circumstances." Serena felt the world tilt violently. She covered her mouth, tears exploding instantly. Sobs tore from her chest. "No, please God, no. That can't be him. He was at a dinner meeting. He said he'd be home late, but..." Carla leaned forward, eyes steady. "We're truly sorry for your loss. But we have to ask this, Mrs. Thompson. Where were you tonight between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m.? Serena wiped her eyes, trying to breathe. "I was home the entire night. Brandon came back around 8:30. We sat on the couch, watched part of a movie. He fell asleep. I checked on him before I went to bed around 10:45. He was still there, snoring lightly. I never left the house. I swear it." The detectives exchanged a long, heavy look. Reynolds slid over a second photo. Chief still from the hotel lobby. Timestamp 9:42 p.m. Brandon, crystal clear, arm wrapped tightly around a woman. They were laughing intimately. He was kissing her neck. The woman looked exactly like Serena. Same height. Same long, wavy dark hair falling over one shoulder. Same red dress Serena had worn to last month's charity gala. Same delicate gold necklace Brandon gave her on their 7th anniversary. Even the small beauty mark above her lip and the tiny scar on her left cheek were identical. Serena stared, frozen in pure horror. The room felt like it was closing in. That is not me. I was home. I never left." Carla raised an eyebrow. The front desk confirmed Mr. Thompson checked in as Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, paid in cash. The woman signed the register clearly as Serena Thompson. "We have elevator footage of the 2 of you entering room 1428. Kissing. Laughing. Very affectionate. No one else entered or left that floor until the body was discovered at 1:15 a.m. Serena's hands trembled so violently she could barely hold the photo. "I swear on my children's lives, I was home. Our front door security camera will prove it. Check it right now." They did. Hours later they pulled the footage. Serena's car never moved. No one entered or exited the house after 8:45 p.m. Perfect alibi on paper. Yet the woman on every hotel camera was her mirror image. Same walk. Same laugh. Same tilt of the head. Who was she? How was this possible? The interrogation stretched into 4 brutal, exhausting hours. They showed her more footage. The identical woman leaving the hotel alone at 12:22 a.m., calm, composed, no blood on her red dress, even smiling faintly at the doorman as she walked into the night. They played audio of Brandon's last call to Serena at 8:20 p.m., saying he was on his way home. They asked the same questions 100 different ways, trying to trip her up, looking for cracks. Serena left the precinct at dawn, completely drained, devastated, and now the prime suspect in her husband's murder. She drove home through the gray morning light. The kids were still asleep, unaware their world had shattered. She sat on the same couch where she claimed Brandon had been sleeping and cried until her body ached and her throat felt raw. Then something deep inside her shifted. The overwhelming sadness hardened into cold, focused anger. Someone had murdered her husband and used her own face to frame her. This wasn't random. This was calculated, personal, vengeful. She picked up the phone at 7 a.m. and called her best friend Adira, a tough, brilliant private investigator who had been through hell with her before. Adira, Brandon is dead. The police think I killed him. But the woman with him on the cameras looked exactly like me. Identical. I'm scared. Adira arrived in under 30 minutes, eyes wide with shock. She hugged Serena tightly. We're going to figure this out. Twin? I don't have a sister. At least, I didn't think I did. They started digging immediately, fueled by coffee and determination. Bank records showed Brandon had been withdrawing large sums of cash for months. 10,000 here, 15,000 there. Hidden messages on a secret burner app under the contact name Mirror. Flirty, explicit texts. Hotel meetups. Intimate photos of the woman who looked exactly like Serena wearing lingerie in hotel rooms. Brandon had been having a full-blown passionate affair with his wife's exact double for months. Adira worked her contacts. On day 3 she found the bombshell that changed everything. Old adoption records from 15 years ago. Serena had an identical twin sister named Samantha, separated at birth after their biological mother gave them up under pressure. Serena was adopted by a loving, stable family. Samantha bounced through the foster system, group homes, pain, and abandonment. Samantha had known about Serena's existence for years. She had been watching, studying, planning. Samantha had contacted Brandon 6 months earlier through a discreet dating app, using carefully edited photos that made her look like Serena, but with a mysterious, seductive edge. Brandon, bored in his marriage and always craving excitement, fell hard. The thrill of secretly being with a woman who looked exactly like his wife, but acted wilder and more passionate, consumed him. He never suspected the truth. Samantha's plan was terrifyingly meticulous. She wanted Brandon's money, his $2 million life insurance policy. And most of all, she wanted to destroy the sister who got the perfect life she never had. She spent months studying Serena, wardrobe choices, voice patterns, mannerisms, even the way she signed her name. She bought identical outfits, dyed her hair the exact shade, practiced the same smile in the mirror for hours. She became Serena. The night of the murder, Samantha texted Brandon pretending to be Serena, wanting to spice things up with a secret hotel rendezvous. He fell for it completely. They checked in together, made a very public show for every camera in the lobby. In the hotel room, after passion, Samantha ended his life, calmly wiped the gun, planted evidence, and walked out looking serene. She even used a voice changer briefly on a call to mimic Serena if needed. Serena's home security proved she never left the house, but the identical woman on camera and public opinion made her look guilty as hell. Reporters camped outside her home. Old friends stopped answering calls. Even her adoptive mother called in tears. "Honey, the news says the woman looks just like you. I don't know what to believe anymore." Serena almost broke down completely. She held her children tighter at night, terrified of losing them. But she refused to fall apart. With Adira and a brilliant, slightly eccentric hacker friend named Lux, she launched her counterattack. Lux dove deep into the digital shadows. He found encrypted files on Samantha's old laptop where she had practiced Serena's signature thousands of times. Voice recordings of her imitating Serena's laugh, her tone, her breathing. Bank accounts where she had funneled Brandon's cash payments. They tracked Samantha to a small, dingy apartment across town under a false name. The confrontation came one stormy night in an underground parking garage. Samantha stepped out of the shadows, looking like Serena's living reflection. "Hello, sister," Samantha said with a cold, satisfied smile. "Took you long enough to find me." Serena's voice shook with pure rage and pain. "You killed him. You destroyed my family. My children almost lost everything because of you." Samantha laughed softly, the sound echoing off concrete walls. "He was pathetic once I had him. So easy to manipulate. But framing you? Watching you suffer? That was the real pleasure. Soon you'll be rotting in prison, and I'll step into your perfect little life. I'll raise Adira and Justin as my own. They'll call me mommy and never know the difference. I finally get what was stolen from me at birth." Serena had recorded every single word on a hidden device in her coat. The trial was a media circus that gripped the entire city. Serena took the stand looking composed but emotionally raw. She told the full heartbreaking story, showed Dina evidence proving they were identical twins, presented adoption records, played the parking garage confession where Samantha laughed and gloated about the murder. The courtroom gasped audibly. Samantha, sitting in the gallery disguised as a grieving relative, tried to run. Police tackled and arrested her right in the hallway as she screamed curses at Serena. Not guilty. All charges against Serena dropped immediately. But Serena's revenge was far from over. It was only beginning. She sold the big suburban house filled with too many painful memories, moved the kids to a peaceful beach house on the Oregon coast where the sound of waves helped them heal, started a thriving photography studio that specialized in family portraits and healing sessions for families going through loss. She made sure Samantha received life without parole. Every year on the anniversary of Brandon's death, Serena sent Samantha a single printed photo, Adira and Justin happy, laughing, thriving, calling her mom. During one supervised prison visit, Serena sat across the thick glass looking identical to the broken woman behind bars. "You wanted my life so badly," Serena whispered. "Now you get to spend the rest of yours staring at these walls while I raise our children. Find happiness and live the life you tried to steal." Samantha broke down, sobbing and slamming her fists against the glass. Guards pulled her away. Serena simply stood up, turned around, and walked out without looking back. Years passed. Adira grew into a strong, artistic teenager. Justin became a kind, protective boy who loved the ocean. Serena eventually found real, healthy love with a gentle architect named Michael, who adored her children and never once made her doubt her worth. The family healed. The nightmare became a scar that proved how strong they truly were. Brandon's life insurance and assets helped them build something beautiful and new. Serena made sure the children knew the truth when they were old enough. Their father made serious mistakes, but their mother fought like hell with every breath to protect and save them. On a quiet golden evening, Serena stood barefoot on the beach with her children, watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. Adira, now 15, leaned her head on her mother's shoulder. "Mom, you saved us. You're the strongest person in the world." Serena smiled through happy tears, pulling both kids into her arms. "We saved each other, my loves. Every single day." The best revenge wasn't just locking Samantha away. It was waking up every morning free, loved, and whole. It was choosing life, choosing healing, choosing to rise higher than anyone ever tried to break her. If you've ever been framed by someone who should have loved you, if you've ever fought when the whole world believed you were guilty, if you've ever had to become steel to protect your children, then this story was written for you. Drop it in the comments if the twists and emotional journey in this story kept you completely hooked until the end. Tell me honestly, what would you have done if your identical twin framed you for your husband's murder? Would you have gone for cold revenge, or simply let justice run its course? I read every single comment. If this long, twist-filled story moved you, smash that like button hard. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell right now. because new betrayal and revenge stories drop every single week. The next one is even darker, more twisted, and more satisfying. You do not want to miss it. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this journey. You are stronger than any betrayal. You are enough. See you in the next story.